Hello, hello. Your host, Jola Pypno-Crapanzano, here with Coaching Journey with Jola. And welcome, my friends. Welcome everyone who joined in from Facebook. Guys, I'm taking you in 3 months through Asia, Europe, North America. And today we're back to the continent of Europe, to one of the most phenomenal cities in the world, Catalonian Barcelona. And welcome, Cristina Drannikow, my guest du jour. Welcome, Cristina.
Thank you very much, Jola. I am delighted to be participating in this. I think these are the great opportunities of the quarantine.
Yes, so... I said that I had such a thrill calling people and scheduling these calls, having everybody actually I didn't have to do a lot of effort. Everybody was kind of home. It was just a matter of the day and time. Otherwise, it was no problem. So my friends, yes. Cristina is a co-author of our fantastic book one that became an international bestseller over many categories and many countries. And Cristina is also, oh my goodness, she got so many titles that just to practice them alone, I had to read over and over, and I'm probably gonna screw up, but let me try. So Cristina is a transformational coach, but she actually uses so many different techniques with her clients to give them like this overall transformation, right? Like through the core. She's a very special lady. You'll find out today. So she uses NLP. She uses family constellations. She uses therapeutic narrative. She uses generative trans. And guess what? She also goes deep and learns what the universe tries to deliver through tarot card reading. And I didn't want to spill it as a surprise. I wanted to keep it as a surprise rather. So at the end of this call, we will have a very special reading for you guys, for you on this call today. So stick till the end. That's something that is a special treat. I will disclose something at the end also about reading cards, because I was skeptical at one time. Now my perspective and perception of card reading changed a bit. So once again, welcome, Cristina.
Well, thank you very much, Jola, and thank you very much to all these people who are looking at it. I am delighted to be here and to basically to spread hope. Yes. I think I do not collect any more titles because I have this incredible, this is like my third career, so I tend to collect titles, but that has to do also with my family. In my system, my family system, not of the people had the possibility to study and to go to formal studies. So I am the scapegoat of my system. So I have studied for all of them.
Yes. So, what I need to tell you guys, I called Cristina like a cosmopolitan lady. She called herself a citizen of the world, because check this out. With the Ukrainian background, she was born in Buenos Aires, Argentina. She lived for 13 years in Netherlands. She stayed for some time in Uruguay, and now she ended up in Barcelona, Spain. I mean, how crazy is that, right? I am a citizen of the world and a cosmopolitan girl because I love to travel, and she just lived in all these places. How cool.
Yeah, and in between, my life in Argentina has also been very peculiar because my family belonged to the Ukrainian diaspora, so we went to Ukrainian school on Saturdays, and to the Ukrainian Scouts, and I studied in a German school, so I got a lot of German friends. And I went to Brazil I spent 1/3 of my life in Brazil.
We went there. I did not even know. So, like I told you guys, we end up meeting through a collab book one that we had this amazing opportunity. Thank you to all the authors each and every time. Thank you to amazing Mirav who put us together, and to our editor Heidi and our publisher Parole. Thank you to everyone. We're just so grateful for having all of you guys in our lives. And by the way, today is Parole's birthday, so happy birthday, Parole!
Yes, happy birthday, Parole! She did such an amazing job. I was so proud of her. It's amazing what she did for us. So yes, I'm like,
yes. It's a magic touch. It's absolutely magic touch. But so before we get to the topic of our conversation, we're going to talk about how to go from breakup through breakthrough from the book. We're going to talk about some really, really cool transformations that you're able to get for your clients through all these different methods we mentioned. But I want to ask you, how are you? Because you know what? I know at one time, Italy and Spain and China were like on top of the cast. US just killed you all now. US is leading that chart, baby. Now there's no question about it. Wow, not very happy about that. But anyway, I remember when internet was flooded with these really cool videos with Barcelona and other places where people were joining on the balconies and they were singing and clapping.
Yeah.
Are they still doing it?
Yes, we just passed through one. But because we were starting with the recording, I didn't go out.
At 8 o'clock, yes? It's at 8 p.m.
They're doing it. How I live it, I like to use the metaphor of the Chinese, and I always use it as I'm going to use several metaphors of my techniques. One is the metaphor of going backwards to the Chinese. And in the Tao, which is a book of wisdom of the Chinese, the symbol crisis is the same symbol of opportunity. It just depends how are we going to look at it. And therefore I see this, and I will tie it up with what is therapeutic narrative. It has to do with what do we tell, which story do we choose to tell ourselves, and how do we use the words to create our own reality. Yes. And by this I mean that what we are facing today, we're facing it as a collective consciousness. So if we trace backwards, how many times have we said, please stop the world, I want to get out? How many times?
Right.
Many times.
Yes. I need more time.
Each of us.
I said it so many times. I need more time. I want to like just relax and have the time. Yeah, that's so true. But yes.
Here's the thing. Everything comes with everything. So we cannot choose, okay, I want the world to stop, but to throw me in Fiji with a cocktail and a bikini. Oh, then the world will stop. You know, these things happen at a certain moment of our collective consciousness, and now it's happening.
Yes.
There are events in the skies, there are events in the politics, there are events that we have no clue there are there, yet we are living this as a collective. And that, coming back to the opportunity, I want, if I have to leave a legacy for people, is to be able to take this time to connect with themselves. It's a great opportunity. Even when you have the kids jumping around, those kids jumping around you, they are telling you something. Yes? The kids having an attack maybe is representing something that you are not able to show yourself. And your kid will come and to show that to you. That is how family systems and family constellations work. Family constellations is part of the systemic field that looks at a person, not just as a person, because we are ourselves systems. We are bioelectrical systems, biochemical systems, and bioelectrical systems, but also the system that we belong to, because at the same time that we are individually one system, we belong to another system, which is very much imprinted within our DNA and within this quantum field of knowledge. Yes, that's why what I would like to tell people is that when we look at history and we see these pandemics, we are here as the success stories of those pandemics.
Yes.
So if today we want to change the paradigm from survival to thriving, we need to look at ourselves right now, not in a survival mode, not in a war mode,
not victim,
but in already a success, because we are the success of all the generations that are behind us, that really passed through real wars, that really passed through hunger, that really passed through through migrations, which are very traumatic for people to having to migrate. So because of all of this, we are already successful. Now, when we endorse that, when we embody that success, how can I say, we can, success then, first of all, doesn't become important. The success in the external success, what we call a successful person, you know, because internally you know that you are already successful. So because you take the importance of the external success, and because you are already embodying the internal success, guess what happens?
You feel it.
Success comes to you.
Yeah.
You become a magnet because you're already vibrating in the energy you want to achieve.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember you mentioned in the book that if you are here today, able to do whatever you're doing, it's obviously because your ancestors survived some sort of, like you say, plague or war or whatever. If they didn't, you wouldn't be here today. So consider, count your blessings. Okay, wonderful.
Exactly. So what is asking us this situation, which is a critical situation, we shouldn't undermine it, is showing us that, okay, if the other, how I look it personally, yeah? If the other survived and I have this space, because we have to understand that time, and we are living it right now, time is so relative, you know? So when we are now standing here, how can I live this present moment? That is the key question. Yes. This situation, for whatever reason, is bringing us to the gift of the present moment.
Yes. So what does Cristina tell people right now? How can we go the best through the present moment and really feel it? Good.
First of all, we need to take some moments a day, not only once, because you have kids, you have to do this. Your house, at least mine, is a chaos. You know, there's like the Tasmanian demon passed through here, and I have to be able to be okay with it, because otherwise I need to be in control all the time for it to be clean and organized. So I have to release control now. Mm-hmm. So what I suggest people to do is, first of all, to come to their bodies. And by this, I mean to sit down in a place you can put your feet in the ground, that you can align your spine, yes, that you can open your crown, and that you can start conscious breathing. Just breathe for 7 conscious breathings, in which you bring the air to the base of your belly, and you take it out, and you feel your legs connecting to the earth like roots, and you feel your head expanding and just allowing whatever it has to come, because here is the beautiful thing. As we have co-created this situation, this is the moment we can co-create our future. Mm-hmm. Yes?
Yes.
Now, for that, we need to come back, because if we are now in all these pieces, the same way I put in my book and in my programs, like that, what are you going to create in the future? More chaos, because you are not centered, you are not aligned. We need to bring aligned. Why? Because in this earth, we are souls that act as channels of divine, of divinity, let me put it that way, of divine creation. And that creation, that inspiration is available to every single one of us. If we are open, if we remain in the present moment, and we allow. Now, the allowance is the most challenging part of it all. Why? Because we are not used to it.
It's hard to let Let go.
Yes.
It's so hard to let go. I have to be honest with you. I admitted almost a couple of interviews when we had come to that part. Maybe 6 months ago, it was still for me kind of woo, to be honest with you, the mindfulness piece, the piece of really be able to go, let go, and the grounding piece and opening all the chakras. I went through such extensive studying of that stuff in last few months. So now it started clicking in and making so much sense, every single thing. And this book is packed with knowledge about all of that too. So it's phenomenal stuff.
It is, and you have to, we have to understand that our bodies are like a resonance box. We resonate with things, and the more we come to the present moment, the more we get in contact with our body, with our sensations, which is the step number 2. What is happening? Because we think that the first time we need, they call it spiritual practice. Why? Because we need to practice. It's like a muscle. To be quiet in a society that is always running, that we have bombarded with stimulus, to be quiet is almost impossible. Yeah. So, yet there is so much information in silence. Yeah. When we allow ourselves just to be and to get in contact with our body has everything to tell us. The pains, the sorrow, the sadness, the happiness, the joy, everything passes like electrical shocks through our body if we learn how to listen to. Yeah, and let me tell you, for me, it wasn't easy either. I am a lawyer. I have an MBA. I went through all the business school DDD models and all the brainy kind of things. And you have to be the best and blah, 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 in the head. Yet it was until I started to experiencing things through my body and in touch with my body and in the present moment that I understood that because the more is the right word would be comprehend. Yeah. Up to now, we understand with our hand. We comprehend with our body.
Yes.
And it's crucial for us right now to understand that there are neurons in 3 parts of our body. In our brains, in our hearts, and in our gut.
Yes.
And those 3 things need to be aligned for us to be in coherence.
Yes, we talked about it a couple of days ago as well. Yes. So that is phenomenal that you're bringing it up. It just shows you that no matter from what angle, what perspective you look at the human, every author, every expert will give you very similar approach, right? Listen to the inner voice. Check this all out. Make sure you quiet yourself down. Listen, allow, all that stuff. So Cristina, I would love to ask you, because obviously your expertise is so extensive, you could talk for a long time, and yet we have limited time. I would love you to talk about the topic of the book, because so many people are going, unfortunately, through very unsuccessful relationships. So breakups, divorces happen more than ever in history. At least they're more, known to human race right now. So there is this saying that after this quarantine, we're going to have 2 things happening. There will be a baby boom, and there will be tons of divorces happening, right? Well,
I will say the third one as well. We're going to buy a lot of vibrators, the ones that are singles, because probably we have burned ours. So.
But anyway, so in this book, you were talking about how can you go from breakup and have a breakthrough? So come actually stronger as a person, as a woman. And guys, I would like to compare this to the situation that's happening right now. We are right now in a crisis. Once tremendous pandemic, it goes without saying. So a lot of people losing their properties, a lot of people losing lots of financial sources that they were living on and stuff like that. Let's just don't bring all the negativity in. However, no matter how bad the situation is, Cristina is a living proof that things can get better, they will get better, and you can come like a phoenix from the ashes. Tell the story very quickly, because I don't want you to bring you to all your, trauma from the past. Yeah. But it is interesting for people to know that regardless how traumatic your life could be, you still can come across strong and successful, just like she is. Stage is yours.
Well, thank you. I'm gonna be very briefly. When I moved to Uruguay with all this, I have passed through the death of my father, which died at that time, and I had to move with a very little boy who was 4 years old, and at that moment my second Dutch husband. And we arrived with this project because it was a small farm in the coast in a very touristical place, and I spent 1 year rebuilding 2 houses at a distance, like traveling between the Netherlands and Uruguay, and being alone in a place where women, I don't even want to go how they are treated. So what happened is, well, clearly my marriage had already had some problems, and we couldn't patch it up, to be honest. And I arrived to Uruguay with all this illusion. Yeah, we're gonna live in the farm, and you have all this in nature. And suddenly, the first thing that happened is that Uruguay is very dependent, or at least the tourists, on Argentina. Yeah. And Argentina had a lockdown in the purchase of dollars. They blocked the purchase of dollars, so people couldn't get out. Uruguay lives in dollars. It's a dollarized economy, like Ecuador. So no tourists. 4 months later, my house got broken in, and got a lot of things got stolen. The house was in a terrible situation because my father was in a state of abandonment because he was old, and there was humidity everywhere, and it was like horrible. It was not a pandemic, but it was an endemic. It was terrible. And one house got on fire. And really my relationship at that moment with my ex-husband was horrible. I was almost at the verge of a nervous breakdown, if not. And so I went through a retreat in Costa Rica, and I start the process inwards. Now, by that time, my spirituality was very mental. So I understood everything. I just didn't know how to apply them in real life. I had very nice and mystical experiences while there. And I came back and I discovered family constellations. Now, family constellations allow you to very quickly understand why you, for once, why you are who you are, which are the things you are carrying from your family system, and why you have chosen that particular person. Yes. So because that person has, has a place in the system. Yeah. So systems are perfect. And when we understand that, first of all, when we come to a relationship, 50% is responsibility of each of the members of the relationship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not blame always. Blame. We're just responsible for our part. Yes.
Exactly. When we take responsibility of our part, you don't need to change the other person. You will know yourself so well that you will know your limits. And at a certain point, you will say, I don't allow you to hurt me anymore. Of course, many times the hurt is like the other person hurts me because I allow it. Even when there is, why I am allowing, because it's the only way maybe that I know how to love. It's the only way that my parents used to love each other. There is a complexity in the relationships. And when we start understanding that and taking responsibility of our part, the other is not so important.
Yeah.
For example, I like to put this example. If I say, oh, he was a manipulative asshole. No. Yeah, might be, eh? I wouldn't say that he isn't that. But which part of me is also a manipulative bitch? And when you start pointing your finger towards yourself, you're gonna see that, well, you're gonna start being honest. Why is that so important? Not from a point of blame, but from a point of responsibility, because we are both light and shadow.
Yep.
We're not, come on, we are not Rapunzels here. Oh, rescue me. No, come on, we are everything.
Yes.
Here's the thing, we as humanity are everything. Oh, the Chinese, oh, the blah, blah, blah. Oh, we are always pointing finger. We are everything. We are the raper. We are the bombarder. We are everything. The only thing is, in this lifetime experience, you and I, we don't need to pass through that experience to raise our consciousness. So I am not better than the guy that goes and rapes a woman. I'm not better than him. I am in a different consciousness. I don't need, what we also learn in systems is that everything comes for a reason. The rapist, the victim, and the victimator, you know, that we both come to this experience, to this human experience, we both embody for a lesson. When we integrate, first of all, our shadow, but we integrate also all these parts of the system, our system becomes quiet, and ourselves will become quieter. That is the inner peace, is when I can say yes to everything without conflict. Now, when I start saying no to something, it's because there is something deeper there. Yes? I had a lot of fears. Because I come from a family in which, for example, women were said, women without men cannot survive. Imagine me alone in a farm with a 4-year-old, alone, eh?
I know. I remember that piece from your book as well. I mean, from your chapter as well. You went even deeper in the past. Yeah, fascinating stuff, really, really fascinating stuff. If historically we were in different era, we wouldn't be doing this, obviously. That's very true.
Exactly. So what happened now? What happens now? First of all, because of the earth vibration, before they were kind of 4 or 5 people that come with illuminations that could connect with the higher realms, and were either in different parts of the world, and the rest was kept into the darkness. But now, today, every single one of us can connect to a higher source. And we have to take care of that advantage. Now, I'm going to come back to the fear a little bit. When I was there, super in fear, saying like, what, who is going to love me? Because that is also another fear. It's a little bit like the fear we're having now. Why? Because they say the following. Today I was reading this phrase to one of my clients, that wealth is not the amount of money you have. Wealth is what you do after all your money is gone.
I love it. Love it. Great stuff.
Because I do believe that most of people they have a gift, and this is a calling. You know, that like Joseph Campbell in his The Hero's Journey, he says there is a call, there is a phone call at a certain moment from the universe that pushes you to an adventure. Okay, to take yourself out of the ordinary to the extraordinary, out of the comfort zone to the unknown. And now is that call for a lot of people. And I do think that if people, instead of looking at what is going, they will start opening to their own gifts, they will see how rich they are. And it might come to a point in which you lose your house, yet. It doesn't have to. What would happen if you lose your house? Nothing. You probably will have to live with a friend. You will probably have to exercise humility. You have to be humble and ask for help. What is that problem? What is the problem there?
Again, it's the perspective, right? Lots of people out there right now don't have a roof over their head.
It's our ego that is saying like, oh, without your house, you're no one. Without your fancy car, you're no one. And it's not true. You still have yourself. You still have the bonds you have created with your family. You still have a lot of things. And what I'm trying to make people look at how rich they are.
Yeah, and after all, at the end, none of these possessions are going with us anywhere, because only whatever fits in that little box, right? But we're not trying to make this again like this ultimate thought of the day yet. Because you know what's important also, that this is the time now to, like you say, look inward, find that creativity, find the gifts that we have, and really bring them to the surface and shine. Because maybe before we were so scattered all over the place, looking after this and that and being distracted, and go with social media and go with the TV and go with all that nonsense. There was no time to look inward. And then the thing that comes to mind is that I've heard this, it was yesterday, someone said it so beautifully, that this time right now, it's like a magnifying glass of what's inside. If everything is okay inside, this time will just show it as a beautiful canvas. On the other hand, if there were problems before, they're gonna crawl up right now like ugly bugs, and they're gonna bite us on the ass.
So, totally.
So tell me, if as a coach, is a client coming to you and I said, look, I am right now in a situation that is just a lot of problems. I'm like trying to hold this all together, but I don't know how long. And this is only a couple of weeks and I don't know what I'm going to do. How do you go through all this?
First of all, I said to the person, crumble, allow it to break, allow the tower, allow it to break. Because what happens? Suffering is feeling the pain and resisting the pain.
You're not very popular on radio right now. You know, people don't like to hear that stuff. You realize that?
Of course
right?
not. Of course I'm not popular. But you know why? I empower women because I don't work. The woman that is with me has to be open to work.
Yes, of course.
Because if I do the work for her,
never gonna work. That's never gonna
work. She's not gonna have the power. And I need the women. We need to get in touch with our visceral power. We have a power in our uterus.
You call it
we have.
Unleash the Empress in every woman.
Yes,
I love it.
Yes, we have, but we have so much power. Yet every woman I speak to after a separation or a divorce has lost identity, is in a lot of pain, is lonely. So but what I say always, all these parts have information for your own healing. And when you heal yourself, you know that you can do anything. You can perform miracles, because when you allow yourself to heal, guess what happens? In our body, our chemistry changes. That is the phoenix thing. There is a part of us that will die. That's why I say you die the sooner as possible, the quicker as possible. Yeah. Allow it to crumble. Don't hold it. Sometimes people have to understand that they need to grow beyond conventions. And marriage is a convention. Yes, because now, especially now, why is also this coming? Because we are being pushed to enter soul contracts of a higher level. Why? Because now we are asked that two souls get together to raise the vibration of the earth. But for that, both parts, they have to be sovereign. They have to have their masculine and their feminine integrated. And one of the biggest issues, because the women we have been working for a while, but you have no idea how wounded is the divine masculine as well. Because the divine we women carry with us all the pain and the suffering from being abused by the male. By the males, they carry the guilt, the transgenerational guilt of inflicting that. When we can find the partnership with the other, we can create major things. In the meantime, we need to work with our own partnership, and that is putting all those little parts together. The inner child, our masculine, our feminine, be the mother and the father of ourselves, have some projects, have some ideas that we can take into, allow the art to flow through us, allow the creativity, allow to connect with friends in a different level, allow our soul to guide us. Our soul has like the roadmap, but we are too busy and with a lot of noise not to listen to it.
Yes.
And
I also love when you said, this was such a good quote, when you said, we are here not to break the rules, we are here to make them. So that's what you empower the women, like you are in the position to actually set your boundaries, set what you want. Don't be that typical, little lady who everybody will smack around. Come across as that strong, powerful beast that you are. Be that empress, sit on that throne. Let's go. I love it. Love it so much.
And one little thing, we have to understand that little woman that is being whipped, she gets a lot of benefits from being whipped as well. There is always a game. There is always a game between the person who feels like a victim and the perpetrator. Perpetrator was a word, perpetrator.
That's right.
So we have to understand that. We have to understand that because we come from a culture. How is our culture? That is my son.
Yes.
Go away. We come from a culture in which to be a martyr gave you rights.
Sorry. I was just, yes, I'm here.
Yes?
Yes.
So a lot of people think that entering the victim mode, oh, poor me, look at how much I've done for this family or for this guy, and then now he is paying me cheating and going with a 20-year-old younger secretary. That guy was like that when you were 20.
Yeah.
But you have chosen for him.
Yes, it's so true. It's so true. Oh my God. But we're leaving this for people to reach directly to you if they're wounded, if they really felt that they hitting that ground bottom, that we will give them at the end opportunity to contact you. I always say that in this book, at the very end, we gave unbelievable free resources for our readers. And yours was a free reading or free session. I forgot now.
I don't know which one they were. Because I changed it in between so many times that I was like, I will do.
Anyhow, what I would like to quote right now, because whoever will get the book, and the book is still available for 99 cents on Kindle, guys, you cannot underestimate the value of the stuff that's in here. Cristina comes up with 15 short tips, practical tips this time, right? Not just that very theoretical, scientific, knowledge, but very straight to the point tips, how to go from that breakup when you feel like the life's over, now this is it, I'm not waking up tomorrow, to that actually, you know what? It is a sunny day, screw that storm, I'm back in the game. So I'm just gonna go through a couple because obviously we would like to leave something to go to the book and read. So number one, just know that all is well, like you say, and everything is perfect as it is. Then you say, trust the process and surrender. This shall also pass. Find a support system. understand that breaking down is moment of light to come through, and this is what you talk about, that power to actually collapse and let it collapse to rebuild, right? Almost like that house that you lost to fire in Uruguay. And just those things like really blow my mind. I honestly, oh my goodness, I get goosebumps all over my body just thinking about it. And look at this smiley face right now. So happy for you, Cristina. You were able to really come out of this on that other end, strong and powerful. I will ask you to maybe talk about a power of two things: power of journaling and power of forgiveness. And the rest I will leave to the readers to go through, because those two things people undervalue, underestimate. When you actually put your thoughts on the paper, I was never a journal. I never used to write anything in my memoirs. I never used to have notebooks. This is only a practice I've been doing now for a couple of years. And it's so true. It's just like grounding yourself, like putting yourself in the position of quiet time. That's when you start putting things on the paper. That's when you start actually talking to yourself, and the new ideas come over. Another thing I would say is that when you wake up at night sometimes and you have that idea, brilliant, that was sent to you, have a piece of paper next to your bed, write it down, because in the morning it may not be there. There was that moment, right? So journaling is key. So please tell me your approach, and then at the end we'll take the viewers through our reading.
Yes, well, journaling for me was a lifesaver at that moment. I remember I started the Artist Way of Julia Cameron, and she passed you through this, you know, the blank pages in the morning. So she makes you start writing. And I remember it was the middle of the winter in Uruguay. It gets very cold, and it was 6 o'clock in the morning. And some days I wrote, "Fuck, it's bloody cold." We didn't have central heating. I had to turn on the fire. That took a long time, you know, with the logs and everything, because those were summer houses and I was living in winter.
Yes.
Like 2 degrees. So, and humidity and wind. And I was writing, "Fuck, it's cold, fuck, it's cold."
Yeah,
and
because you don't need to be a writer to journal. You don't need to have no skills. No. You can literally put phrases, you can put words, you can put curses, you can put whatever comes out naturally. But it's like purging, right? It's like giving it out. I love this phrase called brain dump. Like you put it out of your system, so it's not here no more. It's on the paper. I think Mel Robbins came up with this first. It's like this is a phenomenal thing. If you get all that stuff that's crowding your brain, you throw it on the paper. Now you're like, all right, you're giving me, download some good stuff now.
Yes. And now I left a video a couple of weeks ago. It is like, whatever it comes, because our brains get clogged with what is going on. Just take a piece of white paper and start putting whatever it comes. I have fear of bankruptcy. I have fear, you know, I don't know, money. And most of the time what we're gonna see is, you know, the shock, of course, the shock of losing a job, the shock of not being prepared, the shock. In reality, first of all, I know several women that are being pushed towards their calling, but pushed by the universe, sort of, boom, no, okay, now you're gonna get illumination. No. You know, you're gonna be kicked out of your company. Do what you came here to do, you know? So stop wasting your talents. And some other people, they will have to practice detachment, you know? Another day I'm going to tell you another story with gold and detachment, but practicing detachment is fucking hard. I can tell you. It's not easy.
Absolutely. In any shape or form, a business even, if you're really going after something, if you can detach yourself from the outcome, you are so much more successful. You go through this thing so much easier, because if you like desperate, almost, that can be felt, that can be obviously detected by your clients, by your family members, and desperation is never a good feeling.
Yeah, and here's the thing. So if you say like, I have, you know, but we also sometimes don't want to say that we are fearful. The reality is, put there fear of bankruptcy and start. I always say, look, our systems have a lot of knowledge. Mm-hmm. So our system have a lot of knowledge, and ask the system, who in the system has passed through bankruptcy, where does this fear comes from, you know, etc., etc. And the system will tell you who needs to be included, what needs to be included in the whole thing. For me, it was like, for you to understand, my father, well, he passed through, he had a very hard life, and like, you know, the hunger of the Russians that put in Ukraine when he was 5 years old. Then he was taken by the Germans to do forced work in the Second World War. Then he came to Argentina, starting with nothing, worked his ass off. He left a good capital that we could use. Yet here's the thing, how the universe is so ironic with me, at least. Everything is frozen there. I cannot touch anything. So what the universe said to me, you have to go and show your talents and help women to, you know, to for this, that you have been prepared through all this pain that you have lived through.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then I said, like, well, when I am in this desperation, I always turn to my system, really, because I have integrated them with there is so much, if we will understand, there is so much love in the people that came behind us. They just want us to be happy. And I don't have to be a medium connected to spirits. I have seen that in the field. Everything what we do in family system, we do that out of love. Sometimes that love is blind, sometimes is perceived as toxic, but it has a function. But when we just connect with that love, and you say, like, okay, you know, what can I say yes to? What needs to be integrated? I sat down in the chair of my father. I sat down, and I started a conversation as if I would be my father. You know, so if people have fear, sit in the fear. What is the fear telling you? Don't push it and get all nervous, because that is the easy way. Get all hysterical and dramatic. No. Cool down, chill, sit in your fear. Put the fear in a chair. Take a pillow and say, this is fear. I sit there. What do I feel? Where do I feel it in my body? The fear. What is it telling me? Which image do they come? And when I can pass through that process and allowing that process to happen, it will give me information. It will give me information that I can use to transform. That is the power. The transformation comes with this, because we, it's like alchemy. We are chemistry, emotional, mental, blah, 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 that happens in our body through hormones, through serotonins, through this, through that. And when we can alchemize the pain and the sorrow, that is our phoenix moment. Those are the ashes, the alchemical ashes happening, and from there I can rise. Because when I am only looking at fear, our neocortex blocks, so we cannot create. And at this moment, we need to be creative. So we have to relax.
Yeah. So if you now could tell just very quickly, why is it so important? And like I said, we only touched up on few of your tips from breakup to breakthrough. But I think this is one of the most important ones, the forgiveness, right? To be able to forgive, no matter what, forgive, you know, and it just doesn't go for relationships with spouses or boyfriends or whatnot, but that goes to parents and grandparents and perhaps other relatives in the past. It goes for sometimes children and sometimes best friends, sometimes coworkers or bosses. We just have to let go. That freedom of forgiving is everything.
Yeah, but the most important thing, why it's so difficult for us to forgive? Because we need to forgive ourselves first. We need to go back and forgive that person that has chosen that man. And that is the most, it's not forgiving him. I don't care about him. It's you forgiving yourself, because at that time, you didn't know better. You didn't know yourself, you didn't know him, you didn't know how things were going to turn out and how you were going to react to life, because you were in life together. So first of all, forgive yourself, forgive that version of yourself, forgive forgive yourself now, because you cannot see beyond. Yes, the power of forgiveness is amazing, but it always comes to me. I have to forgive myself.
Thank you.
Because I am the one who is having the wrong perception. If I start perceiving things, and by this I don't mean that the other didn't hurt me again, but the other story for me is not important. My story is the story of my client is what is important. What is important for you to get the power back? Mm-hmm. So forgive yourself. Be gentle with yourself. It cost me so much. I was so hard on myself. And I start learning to allow and to give me the permit for gentleness, for kindness to myself.
Love to yourself.
You know, that part in
to yourself, right?
Yeah, we're trying to do our best. We don't come with an instruction for life. We're trying our best with what we can. So
absolutely.
If we don't love ourselves, if we don't take ourselves with kindness, with love, with forgiveness to ourselves, how do we plan to give that to the world? Right. How do we plan? You know, John Lennon said this, imagine all the people living life in peace. Everybody's like, oh, it brings me tears. The coronavirus exploded. We're the first ones who said, those Chinese, and la la la, and pointing fingers. Now, you want to live, imagine all the people, start living all the people that you have within yourself in one.
Yes, exactly. Very powerful words. Cristina, thank you for your wisdom. That is awesome. So the two big lessons coming out of them: stop blaming, stop becoming a victim, take control at the same time, love yourself, care for yourself, and simply forgive yourself, and you'll be fine. You'll be just fine. So we promised at the end of the session, people who are watching, a little tarot reading. But yes, I want to disclose something to you. So at the end of the year, I had a session with someone, and also a lady who is a reader, and she just gave a similar, like a little reading. And I found out afterwards that, you know, everybody can basically try it. And so I did it. I honestly bought my own cards, and I said, you know, let's see how my energy works. And I started at the beginning of January. I am blown away, but accuracy of the things that through the cards the universe is trying to say. Blown away. I would not say that I am some sort of medium or none of it, because obviously I don't feel. I'm just learning and practicing. Had a couple of sets of cards and just seeing and being more and more blown away, because the accuracy is just incredible. So today's intention is
to put some in positivity. The first thing we have is the Page of Wands. I'm using the ethereal luminous tarot, and the Page of Wands is a very young energy, and it's the Wands always tells about this fire within. For on one side, this alchemical fire, but also this fire of creativity, this creative things which are bubbling within us. But because it's a page, it's a very young energy. It's an energy a little bit like without control, with a lot of innocence, you know. And what happens is, like, the second card is the Five of Pentacles. Now, why do they come together? Because the Five of Pentacles is telling me of that, what you were telling at the beginning, the fear, the bankruptcy, this feeling that you are going to be in the cold. Now, in order for the Page of Wands to mature, we need to clear the space of these fears away. We need to try to look, like I was saying about this, try to look at the fears, but not with the attachment, because the attachment to those fears will devitalize us. This card is the card also of sickness, but it's also of material losses. But material losses also in our vitality, in our capacity to create, because we are the 5 of Pentacles comes after the 4. We are very attached to the material. Oh, you know, that we lose sight of our capacity to create and our capacity to connect with the cups, with the emotions, the 3 of cups. Celebrate, find some little pieces of joy during the day, of gratefulness. Fill your own cup every day a little bit. Doesn't have to be major transformational things, but a little bit makes, after 30 days, a huge difference.
I love it. That's so good.
Difference.
So good.
Yes. So one more is to look at down, and is, well, what I was telling you. Again, another 5 of cups, which is telling me, don't look at the cups that are broken. Don't look at the losses. Don't look at the sadness. Just behind you, there are 3 cups ready to be filled with whatever you create, because that creating gives us joy. Yes, it's like it's a life force, because it's spirit having fun through us.
Yes,
you know,
I am so for it, so for it. I feel like this is the time that was presented, given to us as a true gift of Mother Nature, of universe. And whoever right now listens and whoever actually takes this advice to the heart will come at the other end so much stronger, because now is the time to get better, improve, just get all the skills that we were always wanted to get better and missed. Just simply get better and show love and be more and do more, and just maybe not always have more right now, but just be and feel more, right? So that's so important.
We are passing through another sort of have more, because we're passing, why is this touching the lungs? We have to understand also the symbology of all this. We're passing from an ego-based society, which is the 3rd chakra, my power, my personal thing, blah, 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 I'm the warrior, I go and fight. And the vibration is pushing us to a more heart-based society. The organ that is in between are the lungs, because the lungs hold all the sadness, the universal sadness that we have. The transgenerational sadness are in the lungs.
Yeah.
So when we take charge of starting to open, we have to understand that our hearts at this moment, they are like fortresses. Our hearts are so close, and I can tell you, because mine was a rock. It took me a lot of tears at a point in which I would say, like, when am I going to stop crying, you know? When am I going to stop
I will tell you something really fascinating. Yeah, this is so important, you said. So yesterday I worked with a coach. I also have a coach, and honestly, it is crazy. It was about opening the heart chakra, the session that we went through. I cannot disclose right now. I don't feel comfortable yet to disclose. But 2 minutes after it was about opening heart chakra, about receiving, being able to receive, and just 2 minutes after we hanged up the phone, I got the message with the gift that I literally almost fell off my chair. I took the phone. You cannot believe what just came to my phone. And I have it literally timed on the phone, because one day I will disclose this to the world. Because for disbelieving people, this is a proof. This is actually 100% proof. So like you say, open those hearts, people, because now it's the time.
Yeah, and allow the sadness, you know, because when our heart gets closed, because the pain is so much that the only way of surviving is to close our hearts, you know, and to make a wall around our hearts.
Yeah,
and that's why there are so many people who also die of heart attacks, you know, because it cannot resist anymore, and the heart needs the expansion, you know. So when we open our hearts and we allow the pain, and we allow the tears, and we allow the sadness, and we feel like shit, we don't need to stay in the shit. Just allow it to happen, because it's like a rainy day, you know. You have all this humidity condensing, and one day it rains and it's like this fresh air comes,
and a
you
rainbow
know.
and the sunshine, and it's all unicorns and butterflies, and there will be everything beautiful again. Thank you very much. And this is the time we need to say, Cristina, thank you very much. I mean, I can feel your passion. I obviously, not just me, I'm sure everyone else who was listening and will be listening on the replay can feel it, yeah, because it's obvious. So if you truly believe in something, you will preach it for the rest of your life. And I want to thank you for your time. And I really, really appreciate the fact that, you know, you took the time out of your family life and spent it with us. And I hope that we get to meet each other either in Barcelona or somewhere else in the world. That would be fantastic.
Yeah. Monaco, no?
Monaco.
Wasn't it Monaco?
Yes, the launching party that didn't happen, right? We're planning it. Well, sounds good to me, baby. I'm in it. When the travel,
it has been a total pleasure for me to be invited here, because I was charmed by all this, the energy of the group, to be honest, and I felt very honored. I saw bits and parts of the other interviews, and I felt really honored that you asked me to do this. And it's just, I just want to tell people that yes, there is a lot of love out there, but we have to break, and the break is painful, and I cannot say no to and I know I'm not popular yet. I can only preach.
I didn't say you were popular. I said that at that particular moment, what you were saying wasn't popular. But
no,
yeah.
The only way I can teach something is if I have passed through. I will never teach something that is a nice concept, but I haven't lived through.
Oh, that's so powerful. Thank you very, very much.
My pleasure, and we will see each other with a glass of champagne.
Please stay safe and healthy.
Yes, you too. Bye. And all these people who are watching, look at this as an opportunity.
Yes, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.